right. We are back from closed session at 7:06 p.m. There's no reportable action from our closed session. Going to the consent calendar. Anybody have any questions or things they want to bring up for the minutes or bills paid?
No. Thank you.
Lisa, anything from you? Okay.
Move to approve.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, public comments. There are no members of the public tonight. We miss you guys. Item H, district matters, district manager report.
Okay, district manager report. Let me flip through my multiple page packet here and find out what you guys. Okay, just a couple quick things. The pool replaster project is currently out to bid. So the RFP has been posted and noticed. The plans and everything are on our website. Actually, tomorrow morning at 9:30 a.m., Luke and I will be participating along with our engineer who put together all the plans and code compliance updates for us at 9:30 a.m. for prospective bidders on site here. It's just kind of a chance for them to see the site, look at it visually, ask questions, get answers. It's not mandatory that they come to this meeting, but it is mandatory that any person who wants to place a bid does a site visit. So now if they don't make it to this one, they're subject to when Luke ideally, and if not, then myself is available to take them on a site visit. Cool. Bids are anticipated to come in on July 30th. This allows us time to kind of go through, check them all for completeness. It'll be a public opening because that's what the law requires. And ideally, we will be bringing the lowest qualified bid to the board on August 11th for that board meeting for final approval. And then the project is anticipated to start the week of October 12th. That gives us a full week after closing the pool to kind of put everything away and do the stuff that Luke and John Paul always do when they close down the pool season. And it's anticipated to take up to 9 weeks, although the engineer thinks it could be as little as 6. 8 is comfortable, 9 is max.
Is that dependent on weather?
To some degree, sure.
Do you anticipate anybody coming tomorrow? Is anybody calling?
I do, yeah. So we pushed this out through the required channels, which is, through the Marin Builders Association, through the Sonoma Napa, known as the North Coast Builders Association, and then 2 statewide things. That's what the law requires us to do. But we also sent this out to known and qualified pool companies that do this work. They have acknowledged receipt. I don't anticipate RSVPs for tomorrow. People just show up. That's all past project experience has been that way, and I've always been surprised at how many people actually show up for the shed, for the landslide, Creek Bay thing over here, all of that. So I'm anticipating people show up.
Okay.
But yes, we targeted, and our engineer also gave us a list of recommended pool builder, people who do this work that they've worked with in the past or they know are qualified for this level of work. So yeah, I do anticipate. I think we'll get interest because there's only so many commercial pools that, as opposed to a residential pool, this is a much more lucrative job. Cool. Yeah, so we'll see what happens. And if nobody shows up, then I'll start to get a little bit. Okay. I can't remember the number off the top of my head, but I want to say through next year we'll have about $400,000 in Measure A funds available to us. So hopefully we can cover this project and then some with Measure A funds. Grand jury report, I forwarded it to all of you. They did release a report on June 11th titled Better Service at Lower Cost. Optimizing essential services for the future Marin. This whole report basically focused on special districts throughout the county, requested responses from the majority of districts, Marinwood included, as well as a couple of towns and cities and the county. We have until September 11th to provide response. Again, statute, government code requires that responses prior to submission are discussed and approved within public session. I plan to bring that to the August 11th meeting, so this August 11th will be a busy little meeting. Have been talking to some other special districts and impacted people by this report. I mean, the report, in short, calls for an incredibly aggressive, non-practical approach to consolidating special districts. There is a line in there that talks about actively dismantling CSDs, and for the county to lead the charge on all of this while also centralizing most special district administrative needs such as finance, accounting, HR, legal, everything else with the county. We've done that approach, it doesn't work. We purposely broke off of doing all of our accounting with the county and having an in-house accounting system. The report sounds fine on paper. I don't think it's practical in what they're suggesting in any way, shape, or form, but more to come on June 11th, or August 11th. Okay. The Oak Senior Living Center, I spoke with the rep for the developer on there, a gentleman named Kent Hawkins. Gave you a quick little update on where this currently stands, that plans were revised to accommodate more independent living units and fewer memory care units. They think that is kind of based on demand, that there's a stronger demand and more seniors wanting independent living in a senior living environment than the demand for memory care. They have told me that the project application has been deemed complete by Marin County Planning Department. They are in the process of submitting revised CEQA documents, anticipate that to last 4 to 6 months, and anticipate construction on the roadway bridge starting in spring 2027. So they're definitely trying to keep moving this along. We did discuss our trail funding agreement. The current version has a deadline of December 31st for the road and bridgeway to be completed. And the district reserves the right to propose an updated developer funding contribution. The current contribution amount is $181,500. I did reach out to the engineer who developed the current trail design options, as well as came up with a cost estimate on the original trail description as included in a 2006 agreement, 2004 agreement, 2006. I have not heard back from him yet, so I do have a phone number. I'll try to give him a call. He very well may have retired and doesn't do this work anymore, at which point we have to find somebody else. But I did request a cost on how much it would cost the district for him to create an updated estimate for us. So I don't have that. One of the options that the developer proposed to was providing a down payment or a deposit that he could give to the district at this point in time, that we could just have in a fund somewhere towards his final payment. He said, or if we just want to look at this from another 5%, 10% increase, CPI percentage increase from when we originally said it, he'd be open to something like that too. So I said, I will follow up with the board. I'll try to get a little bit of direction on how they would like to move on this, and I will let you know. So I guess I am looking for a little bit of thoughts on what you all think.
Anybody have questions or comments?
So he would give us a down payment, we would put it into an account. Would that down payment, it would then have interest that we would collect, right, in whatever account. Would that interest go towards his full cost, or would we
No.
keep that and he would still need to pay
He
whatever?
would still have to make up the difference.
But is his suggestion that he's gonna give us that down payment and then pay the balance of the 181.5, and we wouldn't grow that number?
I think it's.
Likely.
Okay.
I think his primary purpose to this is he just still wants the district to understand that they're committed it's a good faith deposit.
Okay.
They're still committed to this project, and they actually think that they're finally, they've revised how they want their building to be. It's gone through the fire checks. I know Chief Senate talked about it a couple times at meetings. They're just got it now. They're dotting I's and crossing T's in a sequel world, which does
A lot of
take time.
I's and T's, yeah.
So I understand that, not to mention, they have windows by which they can do this kind of work, and that window is basically late spring through early fall. So he is finally, I think, anticipating being able to break ground this spring. I've had quite a few conversations with him over the year. I mean, at the end of the day, he's a developer, he's in all of this to make money, but I think he's a good person. I think he wants to do what's right and is willing to just say, tell me what we need to do here. I know I'm the one who keeps pushing this back. Some of it's on us because we keep changing it. Some of it's because the county takes a long time to process things, and that's kind of out of my control. And now that we've changed it and the county's demanding an updated CEQA document to go into building permits, that's another 4 to 6, so there's no way we can break ground on this. They really wanted to have the roadway and bridge done this year, prior, and he recognizes that every day they don't have that is the day this project costs them more.
Right.
Not just in a contribution to us, but because it costs more to build something tomorrow than it does today.
Right.
True.
All right.
I have a question.
Okay?
Why would the district accept funds on a project that hasn't been 100% approved?
It's a good question.
So I would say, no, we shouldn't be taking this.
I think the project has been approved.
It has not. Sorry, I don't mean to say that, because.
The project from a planning perspective has been approved. What they need now is building permits, like
No,
construction
no.
permits.
Our trail, not their project, our trail is what I'm,
okay.
we're
We haven't even
accepting
had the
funds.
discussion about-
We're accepting funds on something that may not even happen.
Okay.
So that's where, I'm saying our
I
side,
understand where you're
not their
coming
building.
from. Yeah.
I'm saying our side,
Yeah.
like, why would we accept funds on a project for the district that the district has not approved?
Right. For me, do you have any questions? or
No.
comments, Lisa? My piece to this would be, let's see if our our trail builder does get back to you. And if there's something that, as non-experts, that we don't know that may impact the number for this, and then talk about it next month. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I agree that we need to make sure that that number doesn't need to go up and what is impacting it before we make any decisions.
Right.
But the question that I had is basically like, oh, I mean, if we, let's say, do accept the money, not saying that we should or shouldn't, and it's sitting in an account that's just for that, and it is earning interest,
That's our
and
money.
let's say,
So we will
he
be
says,
making money
I'll
on that
only
money.
give you X, but it's X plus, just randomly saying numbers, $5,000, and that $5,000 could be the interest that we've, gotten from that, sitting there waiting for this to happen. That's the only reason I was asking, is if that interest will then be taken off from the principal that he needs to give to us.
Yeah, no, the
That
interest
was
would
all-
not be taken off of his principal.
Yeah.
I think all you guys bring up good points. If for some reason Tim Best, who was the original trail engineer, has retired, is no longer doing this kind of work, there's gonna be some work involved in trying to find somebody else who can provide an estimate.
Right.
Which will take time, effort. I mean, I would reach out to some of our colleagues at County Open Space and say, hey, who else do you guys use for this type of thing? And I'm sure they could help us out in that degree. It's a little odd in that Tim had a very full understanding of what all was going on. It's odd for this estimate that we are looking for because the wording on the trail description in the 2006 agreement is so incredibly vague.
Right.
So there'd be a lot of time investment in getting another actual estimate as opposed to us just saying,
Update.
in 2 years, CPI has gone up this
Yeah,
much.
no, and I think also for us being in good faith, that's all I'm wondering is there something that has happened that would all of a sudden make this thing more expensive that we don't know about?
Yeah, time.
Right.
Time has happened.
Well, yeah, I mean, I understand that.
Are you thinking like the
I'm just saying,
stuff that we
yeah,
had
I don't know,
or
I'm just,
Yeah.
Do you think boulders would cost more?
no, but I think,
There's
you never know.
Under CEQA, going through the secret process.
How long does that last?
I don't think CEQA would be that big of a deal. We've already completed some of the stuff that is necessary for it. What we would wind up doing is releasing what's known as an initial study. Kind of like what we did for the other thing. I think
Yeah.
we would get some help on that.
I get that, but see, the developer right now is being held up 6 months for revised CEQA study, which is almost the damn same thing. So,
Their demands on CEQA are much greater than ours. What we would be doing primarily is conducting a botanical survey. That's already been done.
we did
The
that.
next thing would be a wildlife survey, and then an archaeological survey. From there, you have all the information you need to either declare this exempt with no impact, because none of these special things are prevalent, which is what the botanical said, there's no special species, there'd be no impact there. Or you're doing a mitigated thing. To your points, I think we're getting probably 2-3 steps ahead of ourselves, because I haven't even really thought about the construction of the trail for years, because I have other things to think about, because none of it matters until and if this road
Right.
and
Yeah.
bridge.
Well, we'd have to go through public comment process and everything.
Exactly.
So-
Yeah, no, there's still a lot of work to
Yes.
come before you get to a decision point
Right.
on the actual trail. I think Kathleen brings up a good point. I mean, if we don't do this, then basically your developer's off the hook.
And how
Because their
long,
money is specifically tied towards building that trail. If we don't build the trail, they're not gonna give us a bunch of money not to build the trail.
Right.
and how long is that survey, or when does that survey expire?
It doesn't.
All right. So that sounds like if we get some information from Mr. Best in the next month, that would be great information for us, and we can move forward from there.
Yeah, otherwise you need to, like I said, just start looking at,
Other options.
yeah.
Until
And
December.
then it's a matter of, okay, let's say Tim says it's gone up 15% since I provided you that original estimate.
Right.
Then you gotta factor, well, how much, because remember, he started at 150,
Yeah.
and now we're up to 181. So we've already raised your contribution by X amount.
Right.
Tim is coming in under that amount that we've already raised, you know, so there would be it could be a no impact type of thing
Yeah,
too.
for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Is that something that we could ask the Parks and Rec Commission to take a look at?
Take a look.
I
at
mean, just in terms of if Tim comes, if you can contact Tim, or if there is communication with, I think you said Tim Best, before the next Park and Rec meeting.
which is at the end of this month.
Okay. I mean,
Yeah, they
just
just take a look at it. I got enough stuff on the PNR agenda, and again, I
Okay.
think we're still getting a little too far ahead of ourselves
Okay.
on that, because I don't wanna start
well,
going down that road if
Right.
we're ready to go down that road.
maybe the
Or that's-
reverse. Maybe the reverse. If we don't hear from Tim before you meet with those guys, at least an informal
provide that
conversation
update.
with Dan and John.
Yeah, we
Right.
can provide them an update.
Okay.
And if I can't hear from Tim, those are the guys I would probably turn to
Right.
and say,
That's what I figured.
who do you got on this?
Right. Exactly. Perfect.
You know, yeah,
Cool.
that might be able to provide us with an update on it.
Right. Okay. Great.
Yeah.
Anybody else questions or comments on that one? Cool. Thank you.
And then the only couple things I wrote down, I mean, obviously it's that time of year, so Tiffany and I are gonna be pretty busy the next few weeks, just doing fiscal year close. And have started the process towards updating all of the special taxes. I gotta go through some eye blurring spreadsheets to see where the changes are and what have occurred, and then a lot of due dates coming up on that. So by our next meeting, we should have a very good idea of what our special taxes will be doing this coming year.
Great. Thank you guys very much for the extra time on that.
And that's it.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Nobody, any follow-up questions on anything? We're good? Okay. We're gonna move on to item I. Right, all right. Item I, fire department matters. Did anybody have any questions about the chief's report? Eric, was there anything that?
The one thing I would
bring up to
say
us?
on the staffing update, is I just today got word, we do have a new hire with a conditional offer out there. He completed, all of the background finally got completed, so all of the pre-employment stuff is done. I sent him a final offer letter, this afternoon. I spoke with him again today too. I don't anticipate any issues with him signing it, but until I get it signed, and assuming he does sign it, we're looking at a start date of July 27th, probably a 1 to 2 week condensed lateral type academy. This candidate comes in with pretty significant experience. And then once the chiefs and BCs feel comfortable, we put him on as a third.
Okay.
That's great. Is this the same individuals the staffing have, they
Yeah.
call it? Okay.
Yep,
So,
And that would bring us up to 8?
that would bring us up
That
to
was
8
the
total.
question.
Okay.
You have 1 that's out on a long-term injury.
So 7 actual in-house.
7 active. Now, here is the, we're in a bit of a conundrum right now in what our final hire is. Because we have somebody who's in process of testing to be an engineer. The test is scheduled for August 24th, I believe, and a lot of that is due to availability of location by which to conduct the test. If he passes, then he would be promoted to an engineer. Creates an opening in a firefighter paramedic role. If he doesn't pass, we have an opening in engineer. He's the only person on staff qualified to test for an engineer that's not already an engineer or above. So we're in a little bit of a holding pattern, not to mention with negotiations, because once negotiations close, it allows me to update all of our recruitment material, but I don't know what exactly I'm recruiting for yet. I don't wanna hire a 4th firefighter paramedic and then just tell this person, okay, you're just gonna be an acting engineer forever, because that actually does have implications within PERS and everything else, because essentially he's permanently now performing a position above his rank.
Okay.
So we have to report those types of things. So I'm just
we're in a holding pattern.
in a holding pattern. I'm confident he'll pass, but until he does, it kind of hamstrings making that final next hire. Santa Fe is incredibly well aware of this too, the chief is. I've had multiple conversations with him about it, trying to, where do we go? We can, it depends what happens first. If negotiations can close, I can put it out there and advertise it and see what kind of additional apps come in. We can have some interviews. We can create a eligibility list. And then as soon as we know what direction we're going, we either immediately go from that eligibility list that we've already done the initial legwork on, or we completely pivot and try to recruit for a new position that we haven't recruited for ever in my time.
Okay. Does that mean if we're in that holding pattern, our firefighters doing a lot of mandatory overtime still?
They're not doing a lot of mandatory. We are still having some 2-man days, trying to relieve that for them. Santa Fe is coming in when they can. There's Santa Fe personnel next door right now.
Okay.
So they are coming in, so we're still kind of in that same hold. Once we get up to 7 full active, ready to go, I imagine, you gotta remember, one staff person is 14% of the entire personnel base, so that'll relieve that to some degree. I leave it up to the chief on, in consultation with the firefighter labor group in terms of, is 7 where we lift that and eliminate any level of 2-man days.
Oh, okay.
Because right now they've got 6
Gotcha.
active, good to go.
Right.
One's out on injury,
Yep.
one is in the hiring process,
Okay.
and one vacant.
All right. Question, anything else that you wanted to bring up from the chief's report?
No, you can see the plaza update, I'm still working with them on the whole street light thing and everything else good,
Is that really the only interaction we have with that?
so. Us as an agency, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the fire department, for access plans and sprinkler plans and all that, has a role in plan review
Okay.
and approval of plans or required modifications of plans. That's already been completed, but we are kind of the ones responsible for the streetlight portion of it, which we'll probably get mixed in with this grand jury report that says, yeah, we would gladly consolidate out streetlights and let the county deal with all the streetlights there too. So we agree with you, grand jury.
Yeah.
So if they broke ground, do we know how long it's gonna take to build?
I don't know exactly, I don't know, I think there was an article about it, I think they're hoping to have people living in there by next spring. I think so, yeah. Yeah, I think
Are you
so.
on Mary Second's mailing list?
Yeah, I probably
She-
should read that one.
Yeah, she sent a specific thing. I'm not saying that what you're
Yeah.
asking is in there. All I know is she sent a specific thing about that in her.
They have the county has a webpage for all of their projects. This one
I just
certainly
was
has one.
wondering.
They would have to upgrade that too. Yeah, or Google the IJ.
Yeah.
Because there was a recent article in the IJ talking about them breaking ground. And when I say article, it was a snippet.
Right.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, but I don't exactly know their plan finish date. I think ideally within a year from now. But they are moving dirt.
Right. Yeah, all right. Any other questions or comments about fire matters? Good. All right, Luke. Item J, park and recreation matters. And it does. It matters a lot.
Yeah, it does. Thanks. Yeah, the summer's been off to a great start. We're in week five right now. It's been a whirlwind, but it's gone really well. I'm very pleased with how summer camps and the pool have gone. We've had a crazy summer in terms of just all the things that happened, and we've had a bunch of great field trips. We've had really hot days, we've had really cold days. It rained a little bit on us yesterday, but everything's just been has been going gangbusters. We've had some injuries, some emergencies, nothing super crazy or problematic, but I've actually been very impressed with our staff response in dealing with some of these things. We had camper faint and possible seizure after that. That was kind of a tricky thing, and staff did fantastic. Handled it exactly as we wanted to do that. Our firefighters responded, and Santa Fe paramedics came over, and they were also very impressed with the way that everything transpired and taking good care of our campers and making sure they're okay. So been very, very impressed with that, and I want to just give a shout out to Robin for her training program. She runs all of our staff through CPR and first aid training, and it's a big undertaking to get with like 200 something camp staff alone that all get certified in American Red Cross, CPR, AED, first aid, and it's a really big undertaking to get them through that every year. But it pays off, and everyone's working great as a team, and we seem to really know what to do and how to do it, and so that's been really encouraging to see some of those things, and everyone's been fine. Today was a really hot day, second day in a row this week, and we had some kids having trouble with the heat. Some kids had to go home early, some kids had some kind of heat exhaustion related things, and the staff did a great job with them, and we made a lot of changes to the schedule to make sure we were inside in the air conditioning. Thankfully, this was in place by this week. The air conditioning here we took a big advantage of this week, and did a lot of water activities, making sure we're back to the pool. And so I'm very pleased with the ability to pivot on all that. So that's been going great. 2 weeks ago, we did our annual summer overnight adventure where we took. This was like an opt-in. It wasn't all the camps had to do this for the older groups, but people signed up for this independently, and we took around 40 campers to Alliance Redwoods Conference Grounds in Occidental, where they got to do a bunch of awesome activities, ropes courses, nature hikes, swimming, playing games, doing s'mores around the campfire, and that went really well. That was our, I think last year was our first year back doing that since we had to take a break when things were on hold with COVID, but so this is our second year back, and that went really well, and so we're really happy that they got to take advantage of that.
Do you max out at 40?
I
is that
think
your choice,
I think we were full this year for how many we were really wanting to take with the number of staff to allocate for that, because we were still running normal camp for all of those age groups
Oh,
here.
wow.
So that was like, we were putting additional staff that way. So we were kind of,
Nice.
balance that out. But that went really well. And on the pool side, the pool staff's been doing great. In these hot days, we've seen a lot of extra people, a lot of bigger crowds, and everything's been going really well. I've been able to step in and be around for some of the jump balls and service trainings with the lifeguards. I've been very impressed with their skills, and everyone seems to be top notch this season. We're doing very well with that. So I'm very pleased with how the summer's going. We're about halfway, and it's been terrific so far. So I'm very pleased to report that. On the special event side, we've had 2 Music in the Park concerts so far this summer. The first one was on June 26th. We had a band called the Hot Takes, which was an 80s kind of new wave style rock band, who were fantastic. I really enjoyed them. And it was windy, it was cold for the first one, but we had a really solid crowd, and everyone seemed to have a great time. The band was fantastic. And then last Friday we had a surf rock band called the Seismics, who were super cool, great to work with, and a good turnout. So far that event's been out to a great start. And we have our next event will be Summer Brew Fest a week from this Saturday on July 25th. We've got, I think, 7 or 8 breweries coming to that for pouring beer tasting. We have Void Where Prohibited, it's like a classic rock band, covers band that we've had the last few years, is coming back. We'll have Barbecue by Forest Fire Barbecue, and probably the Kona Ice Truck and a few other things. So that's shaping up to be a really great event, and we're looking forward to that, putting the final plans and preparation together to have another great brew fest. And then we'll have 2 more Music in the Parks after that in August. So very pleased with how the summer's going, with all the activities and events, and we're looking forward to keeping the summer going in that direction. On the parks maintenance side of things, the staff have been busy. We've been doing a continuation of our irrigation update that I've talked about in some previous meetings. Upgrading our system to a wireless system, wireless valves for each of our sprinkler boxes, which will take us a while to upgrade all of those, but we've been kind of slowly adding those in and getting rid of some of the battery stations that we've had to have when gophers have bitten through our wires and ruined the connection with various things. Our system over the years has gotten very complex. We have, I think, 12 irrigation boxes that all have to be scheduled independently, and constantly dealing with wires getting cut and failing and having to add battery stations, and it's a huge brain headache trying to keep all that straight and make sure nothing's overlapping, and if we have to have a change, if it's going to rain, or if we have to up things, going to every, it takes like a full 2 days to go through every box and double check and make sure everything's on the right schedule. And so our new upgrade, we'll put everything on one central controller, and we'll be able to look at it all and have it automatically adjust for the weather, and we'll be able to very much more easily keep everything straight, and it'll be more efficient. So it's a great project, but it's going to take a little while, but we've been putting a lot of work into that, and that's been going well, and so I'm pleased with the progress we've made. The turf is not looking the best. I'm not super proud of the condition of the grass at this point in the summer. And we've had a mix of some wire issues where some of our sprinkler stations weren't working. A lot of heavy gopher activity this spring and summer have caused just large dirt patches all over the place, which I know some of you have dealt with in your own yards at home, I'm sure. But we've been trying to combat that and come back from that. And we've changed to a new gopher abatement provider who I think has caught 28 gophers in the last week, and so I'm very encouraged by that progress, which is worlds more than we've ever seen from previous people we've worked with. So I think we're getting a handle on that, and the damage has kind of been done in some ways, but we're trying to recover from a really bad gopher year, and the staff have been working to aerate and make sure everything's working correctly and hold on to what we have for the next few weeks, and then we'll do a big turf overhaul after the summer camps end. So a lot of effort there, but it's not the prettiest our grass has looked, unfortunately, but we're working on it. So and then we had our classroom air conditioner replaced last week, which went really well, and it had a good feel.
Feels good.
Just in time for the hottest week of the summer so far. It took a little while to that all scheduled, but we finally got that. It was a very old unit. I think they were saying at least 15 years old. Looking up the serial number, I think it was even way older than that, but they were saying around 15 years. And so this one should serve us well for the next long time, and we're very pleased that that's up and running. And please let me know if anyone has any questions or like me to talk about anything else.
Question?
Yes.
On the pathways, I mean, when was the last time that everybody checked for grinding down?
Oh,
bumps?
for the like trip hazards and
Yeah.
So we did have we finally got an analysis. One of our companies we worked with for that was able to come out. It took a long time to get them to actually come out and do it, but they, I think in May, completed a very thorough report on all of the sidewalks on district property and all of the pathways, the paved pathways. And I have that report, and they have them all ranked by like level of hazard and which things and what can be done. And we have not initiated the work on that. I'm trying to, the quote for doing all that work was astronomically more than we've had to spend in past years. I think the prices have just gone up a lot. So I'm shopping around for some more quotes now that we know what the big hazards are. We are starting to work in-house on some of the ones that are on the pathways. We actually are starting that this week there's a big lip that's sticking up on one of the ones from Pinewood to Miller Creek that we'll start working on later this week. And some of the other ones that we can do that aren't on the sidewalk. With the sidewalk, we have to get permits and block things off and have workarounds. And we're working on finding the best company that does the best rate for
Just
that.
curious if
But
you
that's
could-
we've got the report now, and now it's just
if you could check on the report to make sure that there's one between Peachstone and Adobe Stone, there's one block that's probably 4 to 5 inches higher than everything else.
like there's like a lip you mean sticking up,
Yeah, it's a lip.
is that on that main like walkway that goes all the way
Correct.
through across the
Yeah.
crosswalk? Okay, yeah, I'm sure that's on there because I had to do every stretch of the way.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that it's on there.
It's opal stone,
Opal stone,
yeah, not adobe stone.
that's true.
Thank you, Bill. But yeah, so that's in progress. I haven't put a contract together with anybody yet because I was trying to
No worry,
find
I was
someone to
just
maybe
curious,
get,
that's all.
yeah.
We actually got names of a couple other providers who do that kind of work when we got the estimate for how much more it was to do the same amount of work as years past. So we do have some other leads. Luke's chasing them down just to see if we're getting the best price possible out there for the work.
I'm assuming it's the county, I don't even know, that's redoing the Miller Creek Las Colinas intersection right
It's
now?
gotta be the county.
Right?
It's
But
totally-
I knew
you
nothing
just
about
an-
it until I
you
started
just answered
seeing
my
them
question.
spray painting, until I saw them spray painting the
Right.
ground. I'm also gonna assume it's probably being funded through Safe Routes.
They were also doing the entryway at Marinwood Avenue in
Okay.
Miller Creek.
I just wondered, my question, and you're not gonna know, is I wondered if they were gonna go, because they didn't talk to him.
No, the question is why are they doing it?
No, my question is, are they also going to do the crosswalk at Miller Creek? That's the one that we always talk about. That's
I haven't seen any evidence of them doing anything there.
right.
You know, like this one was pretty obvious when they started prepping it with all the paint. I saw the surveyors. I mean, I drive through that intersection every
Right.
day, so I
Right.
saw the surveyors and everything out there. I haven't seen any such work at Miller Creek where it would require significant change to the median island because
Right.
they'd have to cut
the
through
curb, yeah.
that. Yeah, I mean I think that's one of those random sidewalks or crosswalks that's there, but they're not really taking ownership on it. I think if you left it to the county, they'd just eliminate the crosswalk.
So this gets back to the.
Because it's not an intersection, per se.
This gets back to the grand jury report. About if we leave everything to the county, there's too much for them to do,
Yeah.
which is why we have individual CSDs.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Awesome. Hey, does anybody have any questions or comments for Luke? No?
That's
Oh,
awesome.
another one just popped into my head. This came up in a very informal setting. Where did we end up with our pickleball pilot? And I also noticed that this is actually in the news with Larkspur.
Pickleball's always in the news.
Yes, right?
Yeah, it
Is that because of injuries?
No.
No, that's the
Yeah, fighting
That's the
injuries
crack
between tennis players and
Yes.
pickleball
Yeah.
players, that's the injury.
I just did, and Luke, you don't have to answer right now.
No,
It's not on the
it's
agenda.
easy. So we did the pickleball pilot program, the PPP, back in the fall, or like winter of 2024, and then we ended up extending that kind of like all the way through 2025, and we got feedback, a good amount of feedback from that program. We were able to see people, using the
there's a
courts
lot
for
more
that.
people
We
now.
ran a camp last summer, a pickleball specific camp on those courts. We ran another one this summer. Yeah,
my son did it.
yeah,
It
and
was
so there's obviously interest and people responding positively. We've also had feedback on the other side, but
Right, of course.
but so right now, I think the sentiment, and we've talked a lot about this a lot at the commission level.
Okay.
But yes, this seems like it'd be worthwhile to put pickleball lines in on those courts. However, the courts are in very poor condition right now, and it's not something that we want to attract more sports, more crowds to those courts in their current state. It's not. It doesn't seem like it makes sense to put new lines down only to tear those up again. And there are a lot of like trip hazards and things that we're trying to work with in those courts. And so the timing right now isn't like quite the right time to go all in on that.
Right,
but when
right.
we do get those up and refurbished, that would be at the time to do that. But I think that's we're kind of in a holding pattern.
Okay.
So,
All right,
that makes sense.
thank you, yeah,
Yeah.
totally makes sense.
Can I
Makes a
follow
lot
up
of
on it, from a staff perspective, and Luke, tell me if you disagree, but I think this is where we landed, is we kind of see that as the next project,
sense. Yeah,
those tennis courts.
Yep.
Once we know where we stand with the pool, we know what kind of funding that's gonna take, and, just, staff alone does not have bandwidth to manage 2 sealed bid projects at once. We did that with the playground and the thing by necessity. One, because the funding for the playground was gonna dry up, we didn't
Yeah.
spend it, and 2, if we didn't fix the creek bank, there'd be a mechanical building floating down towards the bay. So we just had to do it that way. It's just, it's too much of a strain on our resources, but once we know where the pool is, that work is underway. We did have a meeting, not specifically on that topic, but Luke and I met recently with the superintendent and the CBO for Miller Creek School District. And talked a lot about those courts, and I had another conversation with the chief maintenance person, David.
mhm,
Because it is on their property, so you are looking at, in an ideal world, if we can pull it off, we can do it next summer.
okay,
Because you gotta have access to the school, it needs to be when school's not in session, and we're gonna have to partner with the school on permitting, which is, in some ways makes things harder, because you put more people in the kitchen.
right,
But in other ways, it makes things easier because CEQA rules for doing buildings on, construction projects on school grounds is significantly lighter,
right.
significant. So all of that will kind of be looked at as we develop that, and, potentially looking at an adult bidding opportunity that says, how much to just rebuild this court as is with an additional alternative project of, and again, needs school
Right,
to be into this, cause it's their property. If we wanted to do a standalone additional 2 to 4 courts for just pickleball.
right. All makes sense.
All
Makes
those
sense.
questions be answered. I mean, I'm anticipating, well into 6 figures
Yeah,
on just the base level project.
yeah,
And then if you wanna build more, costs you that much more.
okay.
But that is definitely where we're at in terms of those courts need it. There's
Right.
obviously a lot of people using those courts. We have a bunch of programs, classes, and there's league play that's not happening that would otherwise be if those
Okay.
courts were in better condition. So a lot of motivation to get those up and running, so.
So the league has stopped using them.
So what?
League has stopped using them because they're.
Some of the leagues have told me that they don't play on those because the people won't come and use those ones, so.
Yeah.
Just out
But
of
there's
curiosity,
also the Lucas Valley State one that needs needs to be done too. So
Okay.
we'd be looking at probably a multiple project bid.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Because that has to be on repair too.
That's great. Anything else? That's great.
Beyond repair.
Well, then there's just redoing the whole pool, but that's later.
That's a lot later, Chris, just so you're clear. Alright.
Items of
Needs
interest?
versus wants, buddy,
Right.
needs versus wants, alright?
Items of interest from anyone?
Nope.
No? All good?
Yep.
Alright, looks to me like 7:51. We are adjourned. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.